Hello everyone and welcome to the next in our series of daily origami for YouTube. Today we're going to continue our theme of looking at some traditional origami, and we're going to make another action bird. It's just called a flapping bird, so I don't know if we know exactly what kind of bird it is, but it does look really cool. So we're just going to be using regular old square piece of origami paper. I'll be using 15 by 15 centimeters, and I'll let you guys know how big everything is when we're done. All of these birds, whether they do action or not, make great parts if you're making like a mobile to hang over a baby's crib or something. They look so cool when you make them in lots of pretty different colors. So definitely a fun thing to do. And then if you want, you can cut it off and play with it later too, make it fly. So, but we've got our square piece of paper here. Now with the color side facing down, I'm just going to go ahead and fold my paper in half diagonally. Open it up and then fold the other way. Go ahead and keep it folded in half the second time that you do this. It's a nice big triangle here. And then I want to go ahead and take all of this and fold it over so that it's about a third of the way. And you can kind of guess how things are going by then rolling your paper back and seeing, oh, maybe that's a little too far, so I'll roll it back a little bit more here. About the same. Yeah. Looks about right. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just more for a balance thing. So kind of find a good spot, flip it over for a second, and then just make sure that your center is lined up, because it's so easy to get this part weird. So if you get your center lined up and then make the crease, everything should look pretty good. So you've got that part folded over. Now I'm going to take the top layer and fold it out. And you can kind of choose, this can be about right in the center probably of all this is a good spot. We'll fold that out. And again, if you want to make sure you're folding it across straight, you could turn over and just make sure that these lines are all lining up here good in the center. Then I'm just going to take everything and fold it in half right on that crease. Get it turned over here so we've got that edge now on the top. And I'm going to take the flap here and fold it up to make my wing. Now I want it to be at an angle so that this is the tail section and this is the head. I want the tail part to be a little narrower, so I'm going to fold up, and then we can find a nice spot down here too. And generally you want to try to kind of get it to come up at a good little kind of slight slope there. Get a nice little fold. Flip it over, do the same thing on this side, and this is pretty easy because you're just matching up everything, so you should be able to just kind of match it and crease it down. Now I want to just create a little bit more dip to the wing here. I'm going to open up this pocket and just put a little pressure on the left side here. Get that to come open as far as you can get it to open up, and just re-crease everything here so that you get a nice big kind of open space there. Flip it over, do the same thing on the other side, going the opposite way, so that we get a nice full white area there on the under part of the body. Now I want to make a little head section there, so if you can just kind of hold on to things and reverse a little at the top, then you can get a little bit of this kind of folded over to create a little head. And you could choose the angle of everything and how much beak you want, but it doesn't need to be very big. Just a tiny little bit of head sticking out there is good. And then I'm just going to do one last step of smoothing out this tail section. And the easiest way to do that is just take everything. We're going to make like a crease that goes from where all these edges meet down here. Bring it right up to the top. Just bring everything all at once. Fold it over. Make a good crease. Then I'm going to separate these layers. Now the back one is already going the right way, and then this top one I'm just going to reverse and then fold on that crease down underneath so that I get that kind of hidden and tucked away to make a much narrower kind of tail section. And that's your finished little bird. And then if you're going to make him fly, you just kind of hold on to the head and the tail section and give them a good little pull here. It's always nerve-wracking doing this in the beginning because you don't want to mess up everything, obviously, but it should create a nice little tension. You don't want to pull too hard like I just did because then it'll fall apart, but you should be able to get a good little bit going with the tension that's there to create a slight bit of this movement like the bird is flying. Again, don't pull too far here. If you do pull and it kind of scoots out a little, just tuck it back inside and then just make the wings flap up and down. Pretty cool looking. So, and a pretty cool just little bird. This bird then overall in length is about 9.5 centimeters, and the same almost for the wingspan too there. So about 9.5 centimeters tall and wide. But again, just a fun sort of origami to do, especially with kids when it's raining outside or you can't do anything else. It's a nice kind of thing to do when you're trying to kill some time because it also moves, which is always fun. So, and that should give you our finished project for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.